Welcome to our Ayurveda talk. Tonight, we are going to address how Ayurveda deals with an abscess. Now, there's lots of different kinds of abscess, so I'm going to go through some general stuff and then kind of break it down a little bit. So first of all, I have my notes. First of all, an abscess is typically caused by eating stale, very hot, and dry foods, which, by the way, can also cause burning indigestion. And also, when you are participating in eating foods and having a lifestyle that is not balanced for your particular diet, and then it causes an imbalance and it vitiates, that's a word that we like to use in Ayurveda. When something gets vitiated, it gets pushed out of balance. So it will vitiate the blood. So if you're eating in this way, and this is a typical Pitta person often, but I want you to know all the doshas can have issues with abscess. But when you have abscess and it's starting and it's building, it will weaken the skin, the muscles, the fat, the bones, ligaments, the blood, and the tendons, and then it causes swelling. All right, then pain can happen inside the body and outside the body. There are several types of abscesses that we address in Ayurveda. So depending on the symptoms is going to depend on what we're looking at. So where I would go, I would look at, if I'm listening to somebody say, I'm dry, I have pain, it's kind of moving around, that's might be more vata. Or if it's burning, there's heat involved, that's probably more pitta. And so depending upon those different symptoms that person's experiencing will tell me what dosha it is, or maybe it's multiple doshas. So here are the types of abscesses you can have. You can have a vata, which is air and ether. You can have a pitta abscess. That's going to be mostly heat. You can have a kapha abscess, which is water and earth. You can have a tridoshic. That means all the doshas are pushed out of balance. And if that's happening, it means that this has been going on for a long time, and it is now pushed deeper into the tissues. Okay, it can also be affecting just the blood, and it can also be caused by a trauma. All right, so these are all types or causes. They can happen from all of these. You have a vata imbalance that's leading to an abscess, or a pitta imbalance leading to it, or any of the other ones, or an actual trauma. Now, you can have definite complications if you do not deal with the abscess. So it can become more serious. So abscesses can show up in the navel, and if it becomes more complicated, hiccups might show up. It can also show up in the bladder, and if that's happening, you're going to have difficulty eliminating, and then also really bad smell. So a foul smell. Anytime there's a smell, you guys, it's a sure sign something's not right. Okay. Typically, when there's smell, I will always ask people when they come in and they eliminate. If there's smell, that's usually more heat. Heat causes smell. The liver, if you have an abscess in the liver and it's causing problems, the liver then will end up causing difficulty with breathing. The spleen will cause difficulty in exhaling. This is super interesting. It starts affecting your ability to breathe. The pancreas will cause thirst all over the body. So like say the abscess shows up in several parts of the body, it will be more of a sharp pain. So that's vata. And rigidity. If you have it in the heart, it's going to be unconsciousness, coughs, frictions, and pain. Also can cause some delusionary stuff. If you're dealing with it on the front of the body or the top of the stomach, You'll have pain, gurgling in the upper abdomen, pain in the ribs and the shoulders. If it's in the groin, you'll end up having stiffness in the thighs. If it's in the kidneys, sharp pain in the waist and back, and possibly rib pain. And also in the rectum, you will have obstruction of gas. So you can't release your gas, causes pressure, then causes distension. Okay, now, if you neglect abscesses or swelling, it can lead to also sinus problems. So lots of issues with it. And there's lots of causes, right? Because I just told you all the different types. Those are possible causes. Okay, so how do we, general therapies, if you're dealing with an abscess, is first you do antiseptics. So we have lots of herbs that are helpful for antiseptics. And that is it for the outer part of the abscess, and you wash it. Okay. Inner, you're going to do herbs that are antibiotic and they cleanse and balance the doshas. So you do an outer and an inner treatment for abscesses. Okay. So this is a more complicated thing. So I really recommend that instead of doing like home stuff, you can do like the general stuff like gargling. If you like, say your abscesses in your mouth, gargling with baking soda and a little bit of turmeric for the inflammation. You could do those kinds of things, but you really do want to get a little more one-on-one support with this and not just kind of take it into your own hands and maybe even, see your doctor. But we definitely will approach it from an inner and an outer approach, okay, with Ayurveda. All right, so if you have any questions on how to deal with abscesses, let me know. And otherwise, let's move on to our evening practice.